OnStar will now disengage automatic drive. Are you ready?
Yes.
Imagine being the perfect driver. You never got drowsy, you never took your eyes off the road, you could see 360 degrees around you, and you never got drunk. That's the promise of driverless car technology, and it's closer than you think. We weren't always that close. We've been talking about driverless cars since the 1930s, and back then everyone thought we'd definitely be in driverless cars by the 1960s.
Safe distance between cars is maintained by automatic radio control in the world of tomorrow.
Well done, Firebird 2. You're now under automatic control. Hands-off steering.
Well, we missed that window by a good 40 or 50 years, but today, we're closer than we've ever been before. Sebastian, you just saw, to work on Google's driverless car technology.
We've driven in cities, mountain roads, day and night, and even Lombard Street in San Francisco. We've driven 140,000 miles. People didn't even notice.
As for how Google's driverless car works, it's a mixture of laser sensors, radar, cameras, and GPS. The real secret sauce, though, is the laser sensor on top of the car, which captures a 360-degree image and millions of data points every second. The reason the laser is so important is that GPS isn't quite reliable enough. GPS can't detect objects in front of you. It can't draw a map around you as you drive like the laser can. You think Google Maps is impressive? Wait till you see the maps that are produced by a bunch of Google driverless cars going around the city. There's also a camera mounted underneath the rearview mirror that leverages image recognition programs to help the car read signs, traffic lights, and other elements in the driving environment. Also to help detect objects are 4 radars, 3 mounted on the front of the car, 1 on the back.
Our sensors spot the orange signs and cones early to alert the car of the lane blockage ahead, and we can change lanes safely.
There's also an ultrasonic sensor called a position estimator that works along with the GPS to help the car's mapping position. So all this imagery is being captured, all this data is being collected, and that's great, but it means nothing without sophisticated software to make sense of it all. That's where you're going to start to see differentiation amongst people like Google and Ford and Audi and all the different car companies. All the hardware is relatively similar for each of these solutions. The software is what's going to make the difference. The thing about driverless cars is they need to be adaptive. What happens if it snows? What happens if it starts raining? What happens if someone darts out in front of the car? These cars need to be able to adjust themselves on the fly.
So now what you'll see is our vehicle at a busy intersection. The red and green fences indicate that the car will stop and wait until the path is clear. We even detect the cyclist approaching from behind and wait until they've passed.
Whether you know it or not, there's already plenty of driverless car technology all around you. You have cars that can parallel park themselves, cars that'll help you stay in your lane, cars that'll warn you if you're about to hit something, cars that'll actually brake for you if you're about to hit something, and then cars that can actually valet park themselves. Take a company like Valeo that's working on cars that park themselves. Picture this, you pull up to Costco, you get out of your car, you go right into the store, and the car goes and finds a parking spot in the parking lot. That's the eventual promise. The technology is still in its early stages, but that's coming in the not too distant future. So what's the future of driverless car technology? Will we ever have fully driverless cars? The answer is yes, it's gonna happen. Just embrace it. You're not gonna have to embrace it for a while though. People wanna drive cars. People don't trust driverless cars yet.
An unmanned car driven by a search engine company. We've seen that movie. It ends with robots harvesting our bodies for energy.
There's a lot of legal issues we gotta get through. The first time there's an accident with one of these driverless cars, it's gonna cause a whole mess. There's gonna be a media firestorm, politicians are gonna get involved.
Right now, it is against the law for a vehicle to be on the roadway without a human being driving it.
People are gonna be saying, what's to be done about these driverless cars? That's why we're easing into it right now. It may not happen overnight, may not happen in a decade, may not happen in 25 years, but we're off to a good start. We just need to get comfortable with it.